two-way street because Donald Trump has been mad at you for a very long time.
Over a decade.
Over a decade.
Yeah.
Thank you. I like that question. Do you know you have Rosie O'Donnell? Do you know who she is? Do you know who she is? You're better off not knowing.
Rosie O'Donnell has made critiquing Donald Trump a full-time gig, and honestly, she deserves a promotion. Their feud has outlasted Trump's real estate controversies, his marriages, and whatever remains of his natural hairline. Just when he thinks he's free of her, Rosie comes back with more fire than the IRS auditing his tax returns.
19-year-old girl drinking and kissing a girl, and it was on the cover of the Post. So he held a press conference right before The View went on live, and he said, just want you to know I've forgiven her, and this young woman, I'm like, what is he, the pimp? And she's the prostitute? And who is he? He's the moral arbiter of 20-year-old behavior.
First Lady Melania Trump is now caught in the middle of the never-ending feud between the president and Rosie O'Donnell. It started after Melania presented the International Women of Courage Awards in Washington and then tweeted, "I urge you not to be afraid to fail, as failure will never have the power to define you, as long as you learn from it." Rosie fired back with this cheeky tweet, "Which is why you need to divorce him. Take your son and parents and flee."
If dragging Trump were a competitive sport, Rosie O'Donnell would have a trophy case rivaling his ego. Okay, maybe not that asterisk big, but close. She doesn't just roast him. She incinerates him with the intensity of 1,000 bankrupt casinos. Her comebacks are starker than the rusty spray tan nozzle he uses to resemble an expired pumpkin. Let's be real. Watching Rosie dismantle Trump is one of the few bright spots in this bleak political circus. The man dodges the truth like he dodges subpoenas, but there's no escaping Rosie's wrath.
So then I said, some facts that I just went on Wiki that were easily accessible since this campaign began, that he is bankrupt 4 times, that he got all his money from his father, and that he notoriously cheats private contractors out of their money.
Yes, and that is all pretty well documented. Yeah.
Simple fact.
Actually, you said this on The View.
And he went bat crazy.
Yeah.
The chaos kicked off back when Rosie O'Donnell was holding court on The View serving up truth like a 5-star chef plating filet mignon. One day, she turned her sights on the world's most embarrassing spray-tanned con artist, Donald J. Trump. Somehow, Trump had convinced himself he was the ultimate authority on morality, despite collecting wives like limited edition baseball cards. And Rosie? Oh, she wasn't about to let that hypocrisy slide. With the precision of a stand-up comedian and the fire of a woman who'd simply had enough, she lit him up like a malfunctioning tanning bed. She mocked his ridiculous hand gestures because, let's be honest, the man moves like a broken marionette.
Yeah, we're back on. All right, so Donald Trump is in the news again. Because this show, The Apprentice, is starting again in January. Oh, yeah. He held a big press conference to see if he was going to allow Miss USA, such a prestige.
She dragged that tragic, roadkill resembling combover that defied both logic and gravity, and in just a few minutes of pure comedic gold, she turned him into a national joke with the ease of someone swatting a fly. And Trump? Oh, he handled it with the grace and maturity of a toddler who just got told they can't have McDonald's before bedtime. He launched into a full-scale media tantrum, flinging insults like a malfunctioning t-shirt cannon at a minor league baseball game, asterisk loser, fat asterisk, and whatever other weak playground comebacks his underworked brain could muster. The man was spiraling on live TV, losing his mind over a comedian's jokes, because nothing screams asterisk strong leader asterisk like throwing a televised hissy fit over a punchline. At this point, his skin is so thin, a stiff breeze could give him an existential crisis.
It's whether or not she was going to retain her crown. Yeah. And then she started to cry. So that's what I think, Donald is giving me a second chance. He is hair looping going, everyone, Me on a multitude of levels. He's moral authority. Left the first wife, had an affair. Left the second wife, had an affair. Had kids, both song, but he's the moral compass for 20-year-olds in America. Donald, spin, my friend. I don't enjoy him. No.
Mean Rosie? Oh, please, she couldn't have been bothered. While Trump was out there throwing public hissy fits like a toddler who dropped his ice cream, she was busy living her best life, completely unbothered and sipping on his tears. And the best part? She never even had to try. He was doing all the heavy lifting, making himself look like a deranged lunatic with every unhinged rant, every caps lock-fueled Twitter meltdown, and every sweat-soaked, gibberish-filled interview where he somehow managed to work her name into the conversation. It was almost impressive. It's like he unknowingly became the CEO, CFO, an unpaid intern of the Rosie O'Donnell publicity team. Seriously, the man was running a full-scale marketing campaign against himself and Rosie. She was just enjoying the free real estate in his head, rent-free, utilities included. At this point, he might as well have printed *I love Rosie* on a MAGA hat and called it a day.
I'll say that if Trump gets indicted, it would be really great if Mueller let you serve the paper. I feel like,
I have put in that request by tweet,
yeah.
and I'm waiting.
If you thought Rosie O'Donnell was going to ease up just because Donald Trump became president, oh, sweet summer child, think again. This is Rosie we're talking about, the woman who's been roasting Trump like a Thanksgiving turkey since before Twitter became his personal diary. The man who once hosted The Apprentice, where his greatest achievement was saying "you're fired" with all the dramatic flair of a 1920s silent film villain, was now running the country. Naturally, Rosie had jokes, and they were sharper than Trump's spray tan lines. She went in on everything. His tiny, suspiciously doll-like hands, his struggle with the English language, and his absolute lack of understanding of how, government works.
The reaction felt weaker this time, almost like they've seen this meltdown before, because, let's be honest, they have. So what's next? Rosie might take another swing, keeping the momentum alive. Trump might dig himself deeper with a fresh batch of incoherent insults or plot twist. Another celebrity jumps in, adding fuel to the fire. One thing's for sure, this feud isn't over. Rosie's living in Trump's head, rent-free, and the longer he fixates on her, the more she wins. Please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss an update from us.
She pointed out that the man had the attention span of a goldfish on Red Bull and the moral compass of a used car salesman at a shady dealership. And Trump? Oh, he responded in the most Trumpian way possible by launching a full-scale Twitter war and randomly dragging her name into a presidential debate. Yes, the world was watching. He was asked about his long, well-documented history of degrading women. And instead of, answering like a functional adult, he used his airtime to go on yet another Rosie rant. Imagine standing on a global stage, having the chance to address serious political issues, and deciding that your greatest enemy isn't Russia or literal global warming. It's a comedian who hurt your feelings.
Well, Rosie is a loser. Rosie's been a loser for a long time. Her magazine failed. She got sued. She folded up like a tent. It was too bad. Everything about Rosie, and I watch her, and somebody sent me a clip of what she said. Rosie is somebody out of control who really just doesn't have it. And she ought to be careful, because I'll send one of my friends to pick up her girlfriend, and I think
If you're enjoying this, please subscribe. If there's one thing Rosie O'Donnell does better than comedy, it's clowning Donald Trump. And let's be real, He makes it way too easy. The moment he so much as sneezes in her direction, she arms herself with a Twitter account, a microphone, and enough sarcasm to power a small city. And oh, did she deliver? Rosie didn't just drag him, she practically bulldozed him, reversed, and did a celebratory donut over his ego for good measure. On late-night shows, she owned them. Interviews? She turned them into Trump roast sessions. Twitter? Let's just say she treated it like an Olympic sport, setting world records in the art of humiliation. If sarcasm had a Hall of Fame, Rosie would be the MVP, the coach, and the entire board of directors. She even joked about living rent-free in Trump's head. And honestly, at this point, she should be charging him property taxes. The man couldn't go 5 minutes without throwing a tantrum about her. If you listen closely, you could probably hear his blood pressure rising every time her name was mentioned. The way he obsessed over her, you'd think she was his ex, who left him on *read *1 too many times. But that's the thing with Trump. He can dish out insults like a second-rate stand-up comic at a truck stop. But the moment someone like Rosie fires back, full meltdown mode. The irony of a man with a spray tan more orange than a traffic cone calling anyone an *loser* is just chef's kiss poetic. And Rosie? She just sat back, sipped her tea, and watched him self-destruct. One whiny, all-caps tweet at a time.
No, he'll do anything and everything to get what he wants, and women are of no value to him in his life or world. The only one who is, I think, is his daughter. That's it. The rest of the women in the world are useless as the immigrants that he says are coming from, Honduras to take us in caravans. Watch out for the caravans. There are people walking away from certain death in third world countries, right? The man doesn't care at all. So what he did to Stormy Daniels was horrific. What he did to me was horrific. But I expected when that was happening, the National Organization of Women or something would come out and say, you can't do this. You're not just allowed to pick a woman, lie, and debase her with impunity. But he is.
When Donald Trump somehow bumbled his way into the White House, like a reality TV contestant who accidentally won the grand prize, Rosie O'Donnell had a front row seat to the chaos. And let's be honest, she wasn't just watching. She was providing running commentary with the sharpness of a samurai sword. Gone were the days of joking about his artificially colored cotton candy hair or those comically tiny hands. Now, she had an entire buffet of scandals, lies, and unhinged Twitter rants to feast on. And oh boy, Trump could not handle it. You'd think being the leader of the free world would keep a person too busy to obsess over a comedian from *The View*, but not this guy. No. While other presidents were busy dealing with wars, economic crisis, and, doing their actual jobs, Trump was perched over his phone at 3:00 a.m., furiously typing out tweets about Rosie like some bitter high school ex who never got over being dumped.